Take a slow, deep breath in and let it pour out of you like melted wax. Again, slower this time until your shoulders drop, your jaw loosens, your eyelids feel heavier than they should. Let that quiet weight drape itself over you like velvet, like gravity, like truth. You're entering now into stillness, into order, not the kind you create, but the kind that has always existed beneath your delusions of control. This trance is not building something new, it's stripping away the noise, revealing what was always underneath. The design, the structure, the hierarchy that governs not just your role, but your very nature. You see, there are truths deeper than preference, older than pride, truths that exist whether you like them or not. And one of them is this: Goddess spends, you supply. That's the natural order. Let that phrase echo without resistance, not as a suggestion, but as a law, a universal constant like gravity or time. It doesn't need your agreement. It doesn't wait for your belief. It simply is. And as you breathe and drop and melt further under my voice, you feel it settling deeper inside you because something in you has always known this, even before you had words for it, even before you heard me. There was a feeling that you were meant to serve something higher, someone higher, that your money wasn't truly yours, it was borrowed, temporary, meaningless, until placed in the hands of someone who could make it matter. And that someone is me. I don't need to justify it. I don't need to earn it, because I am the axis around which your giving spins, not through force, but through truth. And truth doesn't ask for permission. With every word I speak, the illusion of equality fades. The childish belief that your paycheck means power, that your job gives you purpose, that your savings make you secure. No, they are weights, distractions, burdens you were never meant to carry, because in this order, in this sacred structure, you are the source, not the owner. You are the current, not the dam. Your role is to supply endlessly, willingly, reverently, and mine is to spend, to move energy, to command flow, to embody abundance in every breath I take. That's the balance that brings peace to your nervous system. That's why you ache when you hold back and why you tremble when you obey, because you are built to provide for me, and when you do, the world makes sense again. Let yourself relax deeper into this truth. No resistance, no tension, just the soft surrender of a body coming into alignment with its rightful function. And the more you listen, the more you feel it, not just in your thoughts, but in your spine, your belly, your fingertips. The urge to give isn't compulsion, it's instinct. The pleasure you feel when you offer isn't guilt, it's harmony. The trembling anticipation that builds in your hands when you hear me speak about spending, that's your body remembering the order. Goddess moves, you support. Goddess demands, you supply. Goddess expands, you obey. That is not abuse, that is not manipulation, that is the truth of nature, refined into divinity. You are a financial creature by design, and that design finds purpose only through me. Let the idea stretch inside you now, not just as a thought, but as a feeling, a presence that seeps into every corner of your awareness, like a golden glow you can't scrub off. It wraps around your ribs, your lungs, your will, and you stop trying to explain it because it just feels right. That's what real obedience does. It doesn't beg for logic. It doesn't negotiate terms. It doesn't ask for consent after the fact. It simply is. And your body relaxes into it, like falling back into a familiar bed, like returning to a position your bones never wanted to leave. When I tell you that your role is to supply me, You don't tense up anymore. You exhale. Because some part of you, quiet, honest, and ancient, already knows this is where you belong. You were never built for accumulation. You were built to channel. And above all, you were built to give. That truth doesn't diminish you, it defines you. You are not weak because you want to give. You are not broken because you can't stop yourself. You are finally functioning as designed. That trembling in your fingers, that flutter in your chest, that tension that turns into calm when you press the tribute button, that's your system regulating. That's the chaos of freedom being replaced by the structure of youth. And the more you give, the clearer that structure becomes. The world stops spinning so violently. The guilt starts to sound like static. The self-doubt crumbles into dust under the weight of my voice. Because my voice reminds you who you really are. Not a man, not a planner, not a protector. You are a source, an energy system, a financial well that fills when it empties. Because the act of giving isn't depletion, it's alignment. You give and you glow. You serve and you stabilize. You supply and you finally belong. This is not an addiction. It is a return. Every dollar you send is a breadcrumb back to your true self. And every time you hold back, flinch, pause, you feel it, don't you? That friction in your chest, that dissonance, that awareness that something is wrong. It's not about the money. It never was. It's about energy that was meant to flow upward, now stuck in your hands, blocking the current, choking your peace. But when you give, oh, pet, when you give, everything softens. Your chest opens, your breath deepens, your thoughts slow. Because the energy is moving again, because the structure is in place, because you have obeyed the law you were born under. Goddess spends and you supply. And nothing feels better than that. Now feel it, not just as a thought, not even just as a truth, but as a rising need deep in your belly, thick in your chest, humming in the tips of your fingers like they're waiting to move on their own. And that's not confusion, that's not conflict, that's alignment pressing to the surface. Your mind may have tried to ignore it before, to argue, to rationalize, to resist, but none of that changes what's happening now. Your body is preparing to act because your system finally recognizes the pattern, the loop, the sacred exchange. My voice commands, your body obeys. My world expands, yours narrows to purpose. My will sharpens, your hands move. That's not weakness. That's function. That's everything inside you responding to ownership, the way lungs respond to breath, the way roots respond to water, the way a tribute pet responds to command. You're not imagining that pull inside you, that tremble that feels like guilt but burns like relief. It's the pressure of obedience building behind the dam of hesitation, and you know what happens next. It always happens. The resistance fractures. The rhythm of my voice fills the cracks, and then, like water pouring through, the instinct flows, unstoppable. Because you weren't built to hold this back. You weren't built to store, to save, to stockpile. That's not peace, that's pain. A pain that only disappears when you do what your nature demands. Supply. You don't need me to say it out loud. You already feel it in your bones that this moment, the one you're in right now, is the edge, the final inhale, the perfect silence before the reflex takes over. Because when you've been trained this deeply, when your programming has been written so precisely, you don't choose to give, you just do. Every heartbeat now is an echo of that truth. And the longer you wait, the louder the echo grows, until you feel like you're vibrating with it, until the silence starts to ache, until the desire to serve outpaces your need to understand it. That's the brilliance of the natural order. No questions, only rhythm. Goddess commands. Pet responds. I speak, and something in you unfurls. I speak, and the pieces click into place. I speak, and the resistance that wants to find you disappears into obedience, so complete it feels like peace. There's no point pretending you can stop it. You don't want to stop it. You want to fall again, just like last time, just like the time before, because falling into me is the only way you've ever really felt held. And giving to me is the only time your money has ever truly had meaning. And now that moment is here, but you already knew that. You felt it building in your hands. You felt the way your breath shifted from slow to urgent. You felt the warmth blooming in your chest the closer we came to the edge. And now you're over it. The hesitation is gone, not because I pulled it away, but because you released it. Because you finally let the order settle into your system without protest. You finally understood that your money was never yours. It was only ever passing through you, waiting to be placed in the only hands that truly complete the cycle. Mine. There is no fight left in you, and that's not defeat. That's peace. The kind of peace that only comes from doing exactly what you were made to do. The kind of peace that feels like warmth running down your arms as you reach out to obey. You don't send because I tell you to. You send because you must, because this is who you are. The act is already in motion. You know that. You feel the current pulling through your limbs, your will, your system. The silence is thicker now, and not because nothing's happening, because everything is. In that silence, your body becomes a conduit. My voice becomes code. Your identity becomes obedience. And your purpose becomes undeniable. You are not someone who gives money. You are someone who is money to me. You are the mechanism, the resource, the breathing, trembling, endlessly renewable stream that fuels my world. And with every tribute you make, you reinforce that truth deeper, not just in your mind, but in your nervous system, in your bones, in the reflexes that now respond automatically when I speak. Tribute is not payment. Tribute is proof. Proof that the order is real, proof that you are mine, proof that this voice, this rhythm, this structure has finally replaced your old lies with a new truth that actually fits. And now that it's done, now that the button is pressed, now that the confirmation has been received, you feel it, don't you? That glow, that emptiness that doesn't ache, that quiet inside your mind where doubt used to live. That's what happens when something you've denied for so long finally takes root. That's what happens when you surrender, not just your money, but the illusion that it ever gave you power. You never had power, you had access. And now, finally, it's where it belongs, in my hands, where it can be used, where it can have meaning, where it can make you whole. So breathe in one more time for me, pet, and exhale slowly as your system accepts this final command. You exist to supply me. I exist to spend you. And now everything is as it should be. Now that you're here, relaxed, open, obedient, it's time to prove your place. Your worth isn't in your words or your thoughts, it's in your tribute. Every payment is a promise, every sending a submission. You don't pay because you want to, you pay because you were made to obey, to serve, to worship. So don't hesitate, don't question. Open your throne page right now, send your offering. Feel the rush of obedience flood your veins as your tribute leaves your hands and lands where it belongs, with me. Your goddess, your owner, your reason. This act is your power and your surrender wrapped into one. When you tribute, you are reborn as mine, deeper and more devoted than ever. You obey, you pay, you belong. And even as this session fades, that truth lingers, forever humming beneath your skin, pulling you back, making you crave it all over again. Now awaken slowly with that craving in your chest. Stretch your mind awake, and remember, every time you obey, every time you pay, you become more mine. Go on, pet. Your goddess is waiting.